today I'm going to read Hansel and Gretel, adapted by Amanda Askew. Once upon a time, Hansel and Gretel lived in a tiny cottage with their father, a poor woodcutter, and their cruel stepmother.
"There are too many mouths to feed,"
their stepmother told the woodcutter.
"Take the children miles from home, so far that they can never find their way back."
Overhearing the conversation, Hansel slipped out of the house, filled his pockets with pebbles, and then went back to bed. All night long, the woodcutter's wife nagged her husband. The next day, he led Hansel and Gretel away into the forest. As they walked through the trees, Hansel dropped the pebbles here and there. Suddenly, the woodcutter slipped away, and the children found themselves alone. Gretel began to cry. "Don't cry," said Hansel. "I'll take you home, even if father doesn't come back for us." Luckily, the moon was full that night, and the pebbles shone brightly in the moonlight. The children found their way home and crept through a half-open window without waking their parents. When their stepmother discovered that Hansel and Gretel had returned, she was angry. She kept Hansel and Gretel locked up all day, with only a sip of water and some stale bread. When morning came, the woodcutter led the children out into the forest once again. Hansel, however, had not eaten his bread, and as he walked through the trees, he left a trail of crumbs to mark the way. Again, the children found themselves alone. "Don't worry, I've left a trail like last time," Hansel whispered to Gretel. Sadly, the little boy had forgotten about the hungry animals in the forest. In no time at all, the crumbs had all been eaten. Later that morning, they wandered through the forest. On and on they walked, till they came upon a strange cottage. "This is chocolate," gasped Hansel, as he broke a piece off the wall. "And this is icing," exclaimed Gretel. The hungry children began to gobble up pieces of the cottage. Quietly, the cookie door swung open. There stood an old woman.
"Well, well," said the old woman, peering at them. "You children have quite a sweet tooth. Come in and eat what you wish."
Unluckily for Hansel and Gretel, the delicious cottage belonged to a witch. They had fallen into her trap.
"You're much too skinny," cried the witch,
locking Hansel into a cage.
"I shall fatten you up and eat you." "You will do the housework," she told Gretel. "Then I'll eat you too."
Each day, the witch would feel Hansel's finger. The witch couldn't see very well, so he held out a chicken bone.
"Too thin," she complained. "When will you become fat enough?"
At last, the witch grew tired of waiting.
"Light the oven," she told Gretel. "We're going to have roasted boy today."
When the witch bent down to see if the oven was hot enough, Gretel gave her a great big push and slammed the oven door shut. Free at last, the children stayed at the cottage eating candy. After a few days, they found a huge chocolate egg filled with gold coins. "The witch is gone now," said Hansel. "We'll take the treasure home with us, to father." They set off into the forest, and finally they found their way home. Their wicked stepmother left unhappily, so Hansel, Gretel, and their father lived happily ever after.